And welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man that tangos away with money and steals all my cash. It's John Levingood.
With margin call, get him on the phone.
Hey, Tango, what's a margin call? Oh, man. Now I know why you love the movie Margin Call. Actually, you love Big Short. You love Margin Call. You like moneys. You like movies about money, which is Tango and Cash.
That do good jobs explaining money.
Does Tango and Cash do a good job explaining money?
You know, not at all, but Tango and Cash does a great job of showing me how I think a villain shouldn't run his organization.
He's a micromanager. It's like, okay, remember the Scott Evil, Dr. Evil, John, where he's like, I got a gun. Let's just go in and kill him. Nah, we'll torture him. Like in this one, he's like, we're going to frame him, put him in a prison, and then kill them. Because if we kill them on the streets, they become martyrs. But if we kill them in a prison, then they're just cops who went to prison. But then he hires a whole gang to electrocute them when they could just club them.
This was such an unnecessary risk, too.
Yeah, and he shows up.
I don't get it. I don't get it. He makes so many high-risk decisions in this movie that I feel like this is the how not to be a successful crime boss movie.
Yeah, study this movie and learn what not to do. Can I tell you something funny, John? Because we do a Kurt Russell movie every 25th episode. And what we like to do is just bring up random movies. So we're 375 deep. And so we went, okay, let's finally cover Tango and Cash. When I watched Tango and the Cash, with Tango and Cash when I was younger, it seemed just like every other late 80s action movie that we watched. It really did. I mean, in the opening chase in this film, okay, so you have Stallone shooting a semi. They stop 3 feet in front of him. That's all cocaine. Then you have Tango. Then you have Cash engaging in a car park chase scene that has a guy going, my car! And then just a random naked couple in a car. I mean, it's those 80s gratuitous, wisecracking thing ever. And so you're younger, 12, you're like, yeah, this is cool. I get it. Like, they're hot shots, whatever. But the older you get and you watch this movie, you're like, this is a weird one. This had 4 directors. This one had a lot of on-screen. It went $20 million over budget. Like this movie, the villain has a quarry where they have tractors, they have machine gun trucks, and they have monster cars seemingly waiting for someone to make an attack.
He had Mad Max Fury Road on reserve. And I think that after he went down, whoever took over just started Death Race with whatever was left.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's Death Race what they're engaging in. They're driving around in a quarry, and with all this ADR, we're trapped in, we're locked, we're in a maze. And then they make their way to the base, and there's a self-destruct system. And there's a wall of mirrors.
Like a wizard's lair in Conan the Destroyer or whatever.
It's just, and I also love that Cash gets shot with the mythical goes through right through the arm bullet and just stops bleeding. Like no arteries, no nothing. Right. I love it though. I love the forgotten bullet wound. I like that Kiki, Tango's sister, is kidnapped by the courier or Requin, and
Rakim.
Rakim, yeah. She gets kidnapped. I messed up that name. And then she gets dropped, and then Palance grabs her. And it's just, but I gotta tell you, this movie has personality. Like a lot of
personality,
multiple
disorder.
I've forgotten about so many action films, but watching this again, because man, it's a whole different ballpark watching this when you're older than in college than when you're 13, and obviously every movie is. It's just this one's wild, John.
I have a question for you about rewatching it now after you haven't seen it in a really long time.
Yeah.
Do you feel that everything leading up to their prison escape and then Kurt Russell meeting with Terry Hatcher at their place after he sees her at the club is what you remember? And then everything after that, the supervillain's lair, felt like some movie you never saw. It's like the octopus scene in The Goonies where you feel like this is where they all started dropping acid when they were making the movie.
That's an amazing point that you make, because in my head, having not watched this movie in 15 years, a long time, I thought this movie was mainly a prison break film.
Yes, absolutely.
I really
Absolutely.
did. I thought at the end when they get their leather belts and they slide down the thing, then it's just about over. Then they go to the guy's house and kill. I thought this was a prison escape movie. I did.
Yes.
In my head, I was like, this is a great prison escape film. But then I watched it again. They're out of that prison quite quick. And they really do Kiki a disservice by not telling her to leave town because they're being chased by a micromanaging billionaire villain and they just let her chill at the house. It's a weird, and then Kurt Russell riding on a motorcycle away with her and they're both, he's in drag.
And
then
she's in an Elvis outfit.
and
Or
that,
she takes the Elvis jacket.
that gum smacking cop is one of the most annoying characters I've ever seen in my life.
Threesome.
Yeah, how about a threesome?
Any chance of a threesome?
And he's the most useless cop on the planet, just smacking his gum. And then she woos him on stage playing her drums so that Cash can escape. But this movie, man, I also wrote, after I watched it again, I sent you this long kind of like stream of consciousness message. And I was like, this is Hobbs and Shaw. You have two loners who are just the absolute best at what they do. You have 1 and 2 or 1 and 2, depending on the day, right? The best in the world. You have a sister that gets entangled with them. You have rain fights. You have every time that these two, electrocution, torture, and Hobbs and Shaw, they're electrocuted. When they are in danger, Hobbs and Shaw, all they do is make jokes. And that's all that these guys do is make jokes. In the beginning scene, you have Dwayne Johnson and Statham going to different areas beating people up. And this one, you have 2 different action scenes where they go to a place and they're victorious. It's just they have disguises. Hobbs and Shaw has disguises in this. I know there's not family, there's no disease that's going to wipe out humanity, but it's essentially the same film because Hobbs and Shaw, they're different, yes, but they're both awesome. In this movie, they're different, but they're both awesome. This isn't like an unawesome and awesome team up. Does that make sense? This is dual awesomes together. It's the weird, they call it a buddy cop movie, but I just think it's someone called it an odd couple. I'm like, this is not an odd couple, these two. These guys are basically brothers.
They do behave that way too, don't they?
Yeah. I love it. And I just think there's just so much in this movie. I have so many notes that this is a unique one, man. And I'm glad that we decided on this because I'm so happy to revisit it. Oh, it makes me so happy.
We're talking about the Jack Palance's or Eve Perez.
Yeah.
What a name. Lair at the end. This quarry modified into a death race arena with multiple trucks with rocket launchers.
Yes.
And then the big death race garbage trucks for demo. Like, I was waiting for Hobbs, Dom, and the team to come out and deal with this.
And there is kind of a quarry chase. Well, there's an abandoned factory chase in Hobbs and Shaw, right? Where they're chasing through this abandoned area. And then this one, they're in a quarry. And you're right. This is that car that they had. I mean, there's a note where they said that thing could hit 0 to 50 or 60 in 5 seconds.
I think it would rear and then fall back on itself. It would really flip over.
0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. The RV from hell. It's beautiful because this is not one movie. This is 3 movies.
It looked like you supercharged a 1979 Aerostar minivan.
And then,
what was with that kitschy character who's basically their James Bond Q character, who's provisioning this weird war vehicle, and he's showing like the dog that shoots things and explodes, and
Kurt Russell has a boot gun,
right?
And he nails a guy in the head while falling backwards,
right,
with the sister in the way. Listen.
Yeah, they both shot at once, and the sister's in the way. That is so utterly reckless.
Same bullet hole too. It's just like they both hit right in the perfect. They knew exactly where they were shooting.
80s cops could shoot though. Remember when Mel Gibson, it was Lethal Weapon 1 or 2, or at the gun range, and he shoots 2 shots with his Glock, and then he takes out the little machine gun and gives it a smile.
Yeah. But once again, this movie does put a smile on my face because it's bonkers. This is not a boring stock. I mean, the banter between Stallone and Russell is, I mean, they're calling each other Pee-wee and like has one drop and like, why is your gun bigger than mine? It's just quips all the time between, I don't get it. And this movie was a success. It made a lot of money. It made like 163 million worldwide
in
at the
89.
time. Yeah. It made bank because, I mean, both actors were good. I mean, listen, Kurt Russell in this movie's effortless. He was, you know what? Okay, this is another thing. You and I have talked about a lot of Kurt Russell movies. This is a very unique Kurt Russell character. If you think about his overall filmography and what we've talked about. Because Big Trouble in Little China, Jack Burton, he's kind of a doofus. He doesn't have great aim. He has good reflexes. He's blustery, but he falls apart. So I guess Cash is Jack Burton. If there were twin brothers, one went into the force and military, the other one became a trucker.
Right.
Right? But then you have his like Snake Plissken, who's just silent but deadly and just gets the job done, all business. That is not Cash. You have Captain Ron, who's super cheeky. Then you have Overboard, where he's a nice family guy. He's like a nice, very like the Thing, MacReady. He's just a sullen dude destroying computers with whiskey in Antarctica. There's like, you know, Silkwood, Swing Shift, where he's the romantic lead. This one's a completely different. This is the like he woos Terry Hatcher. He gets a big massage, but he also kills people with boots.
That is a faux sex scene.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very obviously, very quickly revealed to us it's a faux sex scene, but then they keep playing the gag and we started over when Ray is showing up.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, what's he doing to my sister? And they played that really well.
Oh, it's fun. I mean, everybody on this set. I mean, Stallone really, he's trying really hard. You have Russell knows exactly what this movie is. He could do this in his sleep. You could tell Stallone liked the property. He was having a good time with it. It's just Stallone was doing interviews and he was saying, yeah, this is kind of going to be like a Lethal Weapon. This is going to be like a 48 Hours. This is what I want this movie to be. This will be like those. So did it seem like his response? This was 89. This does not feel like an 89 movie, John. This feels like a 83. Am I crazy?
Yeah, it's definitely like riding the coattails of not exploitation cinema, but kind of like the canon movie era of ridiculous action movies. This feels like the second half feels like a canon film.
Yeah, it really does. Absolutely. There's an evil layer.
Such an evil layer. So this evil
layer.
We're
bouncing all over the place, but it makes me happy.
Not only is it the compound that we described with the death race, right, going on in the Mad Max Fury Road, but when you get inside, Jack Palance's like desk is in this huge, sprawling, billionaire's stainless steel, ill-lit room, right, with a bar and these very wide spread out like seating arrangement, almost like it's a rich person's speakeasy. He has this setup for these mice in a maze. And I'm just wondering, like, did he just have that made to give his presentation to his criminal business partners? Or does he use this for all of his presentations and somehow use the mice in this big maze setup? And he has UCLA interns who are setting this stuff up for him. He had a video montage on those 25 TVs behind him when he was talking about the problem of Tango and Cash to James Hong and that other bad guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
James Hong, also from Big Trouble in Little China, as it turns out. But he has like a video montage prepared for it. Like, he clearly has UCLA interns who are putting this together.
I think he loves those mice. When he picks them up and smells them, there is a real believable love of those. It's not even menacing, John. It's not like
like he would kill it, right?
I'm looking at you going, ha ha, then he feeds them to snakes. He's holding these things up to his nose like, come to daddy. I love you. So maybe, yeah, he's very bonded with those two. So maybe the maze is real. And maybe he just uses that, like you said, with the triads